Guys, welcome to another podcast for Earthworks Hub. I'm your host, Ivan Orlovic, and today I have a special guest all the way from Emerald in Queensland, yeah?
Yep, that's it.
That's it, Emerald, Queensland, that's it. So I've got with me Sweden from Blessos Earthworks. Is that right? Blessos
Yeah, that's
Earthworks?
it. Yep,
Beautiful, man. Thanks for joining us today, Sweden.
that's all right. No worries at all.
That's it. My first question is going to be, and I'm sure a lot of people might be thinking this, the name Sweden. It's not very popular. Like, you're the first Sweden I've ever met, man. Where does that come from? Is that like like a background thing, or where did the name come from?
Yeah, yeah. So, I get it every day of the week, so I'm quite used to answering it, which is fine. So, no,
Yeah,
so mum and dad, we're all Australian. Yeah, we got no background apart from English or Irish, I guess, like anyone else. But yeah, they just like the names of countries, I guess. So yeah, all us kids are named countries, my sisters, and yeah, so there's something different, I guess. So yeah.
there you go. So everyone's named after an actual country.
Yeah. So we got my eldest, my sister above me is Paris, and then we have Namia, and Gobi is the youngest. Yeah.
There you go, man. I can't
Yeah.
believe it.
So
That's the first I've heard of it. Very
yeah,
good, man. Very good.
yeah,
Why not, man? Why not?
yeah,
Yeah, something
yeah,
different. Yeah,
yeah. That's it.
I thought there might be like some sort of Swedish background or something, and I was like,
No,
they wouldn't say that. They wouldn't call themselves Sweden, I suppose. I don't know. Anyway, no, that's
no,
good,
none of
man.
that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
look,
yeah. So
hey, Ivan is not the most popular name either, but yeah, Sweden, I haven't heard. So there you go. You're the first one, man. All right. So you
yep,
know what? What I might do is I'm going to jump straight into the guest questions, just so that
yep,
we all can get to know you a little bit. Yeah. So it's just a couple of fun questions, just to see,
yeah.
what type of person you are, and we can all work it out. The first
You're right.
question is, what is your favorite piece of equipment or machine?
Oh, that'd have to be. I like a variety, but my favorite would have to be an excavator, I'd say.
All right. So a bit of an excavator man.
Yeah,
All right. Excellent.
yep.
So being an excavator man, are you a shoes on or shoes off person in the cabin?
Shoes off, mate. Always.
Shoes off.
Yeah,
So
always.
you must have one of those pristine cabins, is it?
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yep, it
Yeah.
has to be nice and clean, or yeah, we can't go to work.
Oh man. All right. Yeah, yeah, okay. And what about in your car brands? What's your favorite car brand?
Oh, I'd have to say my favorite would be Toyota. Probably that's a bit boring, but specifically probably a Cruiser. I'd reckon Land Cruiser.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. All
Yeah,
right. So
yeah, yeah.
not
So
a Corolla or Camry. Yeah.
no, no, I didn't want to give the wrong impression there.
You can't in Earthworks. You can never like one of those. Yeah, it has to be a
That's
four-wheel
right.
drive or an SUV or
Yeah,
something. That's
yeah.
right. All right. And probably more personal, I suppose. What's one of your favorite movies or a movie star?
Oh, oh, good question. I don't know that I have a favorite. I actually don't watch too many movies, but I guess I could say Top Gun was pretty good. That's a good movie.
Yeah, yeah. No,
New
nice,
and the
nice.
old
Good.
one, they're both pretty good.
Yeah, true. The new one's pretty good too.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
he actually
yeah.
did well to come back with that because a lot of times when they do comebacks, they don't work out as well. But
No,
that was it was
no,
pretty good.
no. Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah. But
yeah, no, good. I'll have to double up on that one. I agree. That's good. And what are your hobbies? What do you do outside of work?
oh, oh, that's a good question. I love work so much. Work's nearly is my hobby, but no. I'd have to say probably a bit of water skiing. I got motorbikes and stuff, so that always keeps you busy. But yeah, or working on a car or something. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So you say motorbikes? You mean dirt bikes or road?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, dirt bikes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah. Awesome,
um,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that comes with the industry. It seems to be that we all have dirt bikes.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you grow up and grow up as a kid. We always had motorbikes, and yeah, and it goes hand in hand with the machines, as you're saying, like building jumps and always getting up to some sort of mischief. So
Yeah, yeah. What
yeah,
have you
yeah.
got? What have you got at the moment?
As far as a
Oh, what?
motorbike,
Yeah, what dirt bike have you got at the moment? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we've got a WR 450. So it's more of a trail bike. I did had a KTM SXF 450. So they were I sold the KTM. Probably didn't need to because I don't ride the one I got at the moment. But it's one of those
Yeah.
things. It's too busy. But yeah. So I just got the WR. But yeah, I'd probably like to get back into a two-stroke. I reckon would be good. Probably a race bike two-stroke. Yeah, some of the new ones look pretty good from KTM.
Yeah, yeah. It was funny you
Yeah.
say that. I went the opposite way. So I had
Yep.
a YZ 254 stroke. Then
Yep.
I bought the new KTM 300 TPI
Yep.
2019. Yeah, 2019 model. So I went to two stroke, thought I was going to like it. I liked it. It was good,
Yep.
but I missed that four stroke,
Yeah.
the back pressure and stuff
Yep.
when you're going downhill.
Yep.
Gives you that, the engine revs. So then I ended up selling that and just bought a WR 250. And I
Oh,
just
okay. Yeah.
I know it's less power than that,
Yeah.
but I feel a lot more comfortable on it, and I have a bit more control. I'm actually controlling the bike.
Yeah.
The bike's not telling
Yeah.
me what it wants to do.
Yeah. No, they're a good bike. They're WRs. They're pretty bulletproof, and yeah, I've had a good run with mine so far.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Yeah. No, awesome. All
yeah.
right, cool. All right. What about your favorite holiday destination? Where do you love going, or where would you love to go?
I would say I would love to go. I haven't been yet to Airlie Beach, so I'd love to get up there and have a look around. Yeah, so I have been to Hamilton Island, and that's probably my favourite so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, any of those two places, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. Early Beach is nice, man. I've
Yep.
been a couple of times. I love it. Yeah.
Yep.
Really, really
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Really good
Anywhere in
place.
the Whit Sundays is nice, I reckon.
Yeah, that's right, man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, where's Emerald? Is that close to Yeppoon? Did you say
Yeah.
once
Yeah.
we had a chat? Is that
Yeah.
close to
So
Yeppoon? Yeah.
Emerald's probably only about 3 hours from Yeppoon, 3.5 hours. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not very far from the coast. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Is that where they have field days or something in Emerald? Do they have something there?
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah. They got aggro.
that's the one. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have like a
So we're
big
not.
show there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty big. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we had that here this year. It was pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. It's not like Diesel Dirt and Turf or something like that, but
Yeah.
it's all right.
That's it. That's it. Hey, wait till
Yeah.
HubCon comes out. I don't know if you've been following that, but everyone's stirring me up. They're all like, you gotta go do a big expo. And they're already naming it HubCon 2024. And I'm like, everyone's pushing me to do it.
I
Yeah.
did hear
Oh,
about that. Yeah. It
yeah.
sounds pretty good.
We've got everyone organised. People are like,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
bring the sausages. I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring the machines. And I was like, whoa, hang on. Oh, man. All right. What about music? Like, what sort of music do you listen to?
Yeah. So probably just country music. Just
Yeah,
not
nice.
too specific really. Bit of country is always good. Seems to
Yeah,
go good. So
yeah. So you come across as more of a relaxed, easygoing type person then.
yeah. Oh, you never know. A bit of Nickelback gets thrown in there sometimes.
Yeah, true. Oh,
Yeah.
and speaking of music, what do you listen to while you're working? Do you listen to podcasts or music?
Oh, Earthworks Hub is what I listen to.
Ah, good answer, man. Good answer. I didn't set,
No,
hey guys, I didn't set him up to say that, guys. I didn't say anything.
I'm not getting
Uh,
paid.
yeah, yeah. But
No,
do you prefer anything or?
yeah, probably podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it varies from, I don't know, interesting podcasts like Joe Rogan or any Aaron Witt like does the same sort of things what you're doing. That's pretty interesting sometimes. Yeah, so and then there's the comedy ones. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Marty and Michael. They're pretty funny. Like to listen to
yeah,
them a bit.
yeah, yeah. A lot of
But
guys listen to like alpha blokes and stuff like
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Those sort of
they're always
guys.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it. I'm trying to get my podcast a little bit more interesting because I seem to just always talk about business and work, and so now that's why I'm throwing these sort of things in, just trying to make it a little bit more fun,
yeah,
something for
yeah,
to people to have fun listening to rather than just
yeah,
the same thing over and over.
yeah. But
So it's
at
work.
the same time, I think it's good because it you never know who might need to listen to it to either help themselves if they're struggling with something in the industry or I think it's good to talk about business and what you do talk about is interesting and I learn a lot. I know that much.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's good, man. It's good to know.
yeah,
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 thank you.
yeah.
All right. And then I'll ask you one more question. If you couldn't do the type of work you're doing now, what else would you be doing?
I don't know. No, I'd say diesel fitter. Don't mind a bit of mechanic and fiddling around. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, I suppose you know what, it goes hand in hand with our industry
yeah.
because you know, a lot of times we end up doing a lot of that sort of work.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You always try and have a crack at it yourself before you call the mechanic. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's good, man. That's good. Well, thank you. Thanks for participating in that
That's
little
all right.
segment.
Yep.
That's it. So now hopefully everyone's got, you know, a better understanding of where you come from and, you know, what sort of person you are and all that. And let's get into the business type questions then. So, is it Blessos? Am I saying that right when I
Yeah,
say it?
yeah. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
Blessos Earthworks, talk us through like how you got to starting that because that's your own business, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, started from scratch.
All right. So, yeah,
So,
give us a rundown of your history. Yeah.
yeah. So we started. Well, I left school. I finished halfway through year 10 because I'd had enough and there was no future there in school for me. So there is for some people, it wasn't for me. So I left school and actually up here in Emerald, I have cousins that run a horticulture farm, so grapes and lemons, avocados, all that type of stuff. So they offered me a job up here straight out of school and like driving tractors and we actually come up here and desilted a dam, one of their dams that had filled up with silt over the years. So that was really good. Sort of jumped into the earthworks side of things straight off the bat and we had a 40-ton Komatsu there with two haul trucks, a 45-tonner Cat and a 25-ton Volvo. So that was really good. Yeah. So we did that straight up and then just sort of farmhand stuff, just tractor work and spraying and all those sort of things. And but they were really good because we did a heap of irrigation they were developing at the time. So with that 40-ton Komatsu, we actually did about it would be 2 or 3 Ks of irrigation trenching. So that was really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed working for them, and yeah, they were really good to me. So
Yeah.
I did that for a year, and then in Emerald here, I actually know the salesman that is for Caterpillar here. So I talked with my family at the farm, and between the grape rows, you can't get anything in there but 1.8. So I just put it to him that if I went and bought this 1.8, I'd be able to do a bit of work in the vineyards for him. So yeah, ordered the machine and picked it up a brand new little Nexgen 1.8 cat. So that was like a dream come true, and yeah, that was the start of it. So yeah, then I did that. Yeah, used that on the grape farm there, fixing pipes and all sorts of little jobs for them, and that finished off that year, which would have been 2020. Um, so I finished that, and then I went home. So that would be back down the south coast in New South Wales there. So that's sort of near Bateman's Bay, Narooma, all down. I don't know if anyone's been down there, but
Yep.
yeah. So that sort of area. And Dad, he had his earthmoving business down there as well. So which he was sort of backing off a little bit, and yeah, sort of he sold most of the gear. So yeah, it took my little 1.8 down there, and yeah, started down there from scratch basically. So Dad had a few clients, but because he'd sort of backed off it, I couldn't really just walk into, I guess all a heap of clients that Dad had racked up because they weren't there. So yeah, I had to sort of build my own clientele there, and it was tough because it's a small town and there's not a heap of industry going on. It's mostly retired people and people had been there for a long time, so it's tough to get you in. But
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people knew my family down there, which always helps if you're name dropping. You can sort of yeah pick up a few jobs that way, and so know your family. But yeah, so yeah, started working with that, and I did that all through. I'd say yeah, so did 2020 on the farm, family farm, and then I would have ended up at home for 2021. So that I did that full year 2021 at home there just with the 1.8, and Dad had a little 4-ton tipper, so that was handy. I got to hire that dry hire that off Dad, and yeah, so that was good. But I sort of noticed that yeah, I had to branch out somewhere because it definitely wasn't flat out, that's for sure. So I think it must have been end of 2021 or start of 2022. I ordered a that 259 D3 Posi from Canberra. West in there and had a really good salesman. He was good to deal with, but this was when COVID was rampant, and yeah, machines were very hard to get, and there was none in the country at all. And he did say that there's other machines getting around, like a 249, 239, but he said for what sounds like you want to do, you probably want the 259 with a bit more horsepower. And yeah, so I said, oh, I'm happy to wait. So I waited 8 months for that machine, which was dreadful. But anyway, there was nothing
Yeah.
anyone could do about it. It was very painful. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that was really good picking that up. That was another dream come true. It was the best day ever. I'd waited so long for this thing, and
Yeah.
so yeah, that was in 2022. So yeah, then started with that, and that was really good. That really made the business take off. It was just really good. Started doing a lot of roads and just private driveways, but because the rain and everything's so steep down home, as you don't gravel the roads. So yeah, did a lot of that work, and that was really good. So yeah, and then I had that for the rest of 2022, and did all 2023 with just those two machines. I ended up buying that little tipper off Dad, and Dad had also had a Scania bogey truck, so that was handy as well to dry hire off him, and a tag trailer. So that was good for moving the gear around. And then, same as anyone does, as soon as I needed a 5-tonner, it was just there was a few farmers around that bought them, so I just used to dry hire it off them if I needed one for a site cut or something. So
Yeah.
that'll work pretty good in the end. Yeah, I was fairly busy before I left, so yeah, and then got married. Got married in end of 2023. So yeah, and then me and the wife decided that everything was way too dear on the coast, as everyone knows, to buy. So and to find land and all the rest of it. So we thought we had, like, my sister's up here as well. So we decided, that we'd come up here and make the move and bring the gear up with us. So I actually bought another truck off Dad at that time. That was a Pantech. So it was it just had a Pantech on the back, single axle Mitsubishi. So I cut
Yep.
all the Pantech off it, took it up to a fabricator. He put a beaver tail on it for me, and we spruced it up. I painted the cab. This was all towards the end of 2023. Painted the cab, put some shiny rims on it, and it's all on my Instagram that people want to go and have a look. But so I
Yep.
did that, and so that was what I bring that up here with me. And so I just probably missed a bit there, but the 1.8 actually sold at the end of 2024 and 2023, and I put my order in for a 306 Nexgen. So I thought, coming up here, that there's bigger yards and bigger spaces, that I need to do that to obviously make the next move with the business. So
Yeah.
yeah, I sold that little 1.8 with 900 hours on it, so it served me well, and that was best move out. So got rid of that, and then when I moved up here, I picked that 306 up from the dealership up here. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was exciting, making
Awesome.
the move with a brand new machine to pick up. And and then we've just sort of started here again from scratch. Same old story, just tough to get work, and everyone knows everyone. But so, and then just I've started really. This year's been great, actually. For a first year, I just can't believe how well it's been going. So and then I got that 306, and then I sold that little beaver tail with ramps and got rid of that, and now I bought a Mitsubishi bogey tipper and then bought that tag off Dad, and it come up here, and and then the little laser tractor was the last purchase. So that's where we're at now. So
Awesome. I was going to ask you
yeah,
about that little tractor. That's an
yeah,
awesome little thing. So yeah, tell
yeah.
us about that little laser tractor you've got. What do you use it for, and what is it?
Yeah, so that little tractor, I was doing a big commercial job here in Emerald that I got onto, and there was another earth mover there from the Gold Coast that I was giving him a hand, and I seen him with his tractor, and he did the pad there and everything, and I'd seen him all over Instagram and online and everything. I always thought they were really cool, and I'd never seen one in person, so I took a lot of interest, and we've become good mates and have a good relationship now. And he did that pad there and a few other jobs, and then I dry hired it off him for 3 months and did a heap of house pads, and yeah, the results were just amazing. So then he offered if I wanted to buy it. So I thought, yeah, well, to jump to the next step
Yeah.
and stand out a bit from the crowd, yeah, made the move to buy that one. So yeah, it is the best thing I've ever bought for precise leveling and fast. And everyone knows what it's like to be on a posi and jump out and do the laser, and yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
It can be done,
Yeah.
and to get stuff perfect, it takes time and it can be hard. So just to be able to drive that thing around on automatics with the old MOBA receivers and everything, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, you've just answered my next question. I was going to say, what technology have you got on there? So you've just said the MOBA receivers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
So that if you
awesome.
want to talk about technology too, that little 306 has got ease of use, cat call it. So it's just like a 2D laser system that you can just bench off stuff around site and yeah, get an idea, and you can put percentages in there and stuff. So yeah, it's great and handy too. So yeah.
Yeah. What's that? Is that so? That's a standard cat thing, is it, or do you have to pay extra for that?
No, I had to pay extra, but it's a cat product. And yeah, I opted with it on this. Yeah, on the cat, I just bought it. It's got like it doesn't just do that. It's got height limiters, slew limiters. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What else is? Yeah, and then that 2D system, and it can do percentages, and yeah, like I said, just yeah, it's just a handy little feature that yeah makes your life a bit easier. So yeah, but it's a cat product. Yeah.
Yeah. With that 306, what do you like? I don't know if have you been in like a regular 5 or a 305 or something? What's the big difference that you can tell us about going from that
Yeah.
one, or like in between the two different sizes?
Yep. So interesting enough, I mean, it was amazing compared to 1.8. I
Yeah.
felt like I was in a massive digger compared to that. So obviously that was easy enough difference. But when I was working on the big job down here, that same guy, he bought a brand new 305 and it turned up on site when I was there with mine. So I got to hop between them. Like he said, oh, have a go on mine and see what you think. So the biggest difference I would notice is the 305 with a full bucket, because it's zero swing. Obviously, when you go around that side on the tracks, it wants to cock a leg a little bit. So you
Yeah.
just got to be careful of that. I would say the cab could be a little bit smaller. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it felt like that from memory. Yeah, other than that, they're pretty. Oh, the 306 has a lot longer reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mine's got the long stick. You can get two different versions, short or long sticks. So another great thing that yeah I'd advise anyone to get if you're getting a digger, make sure you get a long stick. It's providing it suits what you want to do. Yeah, it's the best thing on that 306 for reach too. It just gives you that little bit more that you always seem to need. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah,
True.
but other
True.
than that, they're pretty much the same things. So they
Mhm.
like it'll do what my six will do. The six might have a bit more digging power, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's very similar.
And what about, do you have a tilting hitch or a tilt rotator or anything like that?
Yeah, so that 1.8 just had a mud bucket with the tilting ram, and it was very frustrating. So that was the first thing I put on that 306 is a tilting hitch. So yeah, just a attached to tilting hitch. Yeah, so it also adds probably I don't know 200 millimeters of length, maybe a little bit more. So you also get a bit of length out of that as well. But yeah, still another best thing ever put on a digger. Again, you probably lose a bit of breakout force. Everyone sort of knows that, but for what you get, it's still worth having on there.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely, man.
Yeah,
Tilt
yeah,
hitches all the way. Yeah, tilt hitch
yeah,
all the
yeah,
way. Oh
yeah,
man. All right. So at the moment you've got what, the 306,
yep,
the tipper, the Mitsubishi tipper, yeah,
yep, yep.
the tag trailer, and the 259 still.
Yeah, still got that and the little tipper, little Mitsubishi 4-ton tipper.
Yeah,
It's set up as a water cut now, so set that up there a couple of weeks ago as a water cut, so that's handy too. Yeah,
yeah.
and,
Oh, and the
and
tractor as well.
yeah, and the tractor and a dog trailer that suits that Mitsubishi.
Oh,
So yeah,
cool, cool. So
yeah. So
what sort of work do you predominantly do? Do you do like hourly hire, or do you quote jobs, or how do you work your system?
yeah. So a bit of everything. I would say most of it's hourly hire. yeah, quoted work does come our way a little bit, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's mostly what I do. It's mostly is hourly hire, but yeah, we do get a few quoted jobs here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. And what type of work are you doing? Like, is it civil work or like on new estates, subdivisions, or landscaping, or what's your sort of primary jobs?
So well, yeah, a bit of everything really, a bit of variety, but we have been mostly on commercial, which has been really good. I've really been enjoying it. It's yeah, so it's been a really good thing for us, but yeah, we still do a heap of private work and yeah, all the other odds and ends that comes our way, we'll take and do it. So, but yeah, the commercial has been predominant for this year anyway. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And when you say commercial, what's that like doing on those buildings like schools,
yeah,
factories, warehouses, or stuff like
yeah,
that? Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So like government jobs, like medical centres, yeah, all sorts of schools, unis, police station. We've done, yeah. So, yeah. So yeah, it's been really good, and so just sort of being there with all the different trades, electricians, plumbers, and bit of landscaping on those projects. But yeah, the concreters as well. So yeah,
Yeah. I was just going to say that that's one of my things I like about doing commercial, and a lot of guys that I've spoken to say the same thing. Commercial sort of gives you the opportunity to work with a heap of different trades. You're
yep,
not sort of constantly doing the same thing,
yep,
so it's good.
yep, yep,
Uh,
definitely, and it allows you to stay on site longer too, which everyone knows is the best thing for your business if you can, providing it's a good site and everyone pays you. Yeah, the longer you can stay, the better.
yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And what about, so for people, other people that have got their own businesses or own operators, what do you go through? Like, do you go through like agencies or plant hire companies, or do you just go direct with the customers?
So yeah, I've never been through plant hire agency. I am on I seek plant and hire pages, those types of things. But yeah, you get a little bit of work from them, but nothing major. But yeah, mainly direct to the customer and yeah, strike up a conversation and usually go around the sites. If you're just starting out, that's how I started out, is just go around and knock on their door and say, "Do you need anything done?" or same old story. So yeah, or just yeah, have a yarn to people down the street, or if you bump into someone or something, just give them a card and tell them what you do, and yeah, just give them, offer them a service really.
Yeah. And that's true too. Yeah. Once you get to meet people as well, and you see someone that's in the industry, you sort of, you talk to them and then say, if you've ever got something or you can't do it, give me a
Yep,
call. So
yep,
exactly,
yep.
exactly how it
Other
works.
other earth movers too, providing you don't come across as you're trying to steal their work or come across in the wrong way. It's always good to be friendly and just let them know what you got, because you never know when they're flat out and they can't keep up either. They'll keep you in mind.
So, yeah, I forgot to ask you a bit earlier. Have you got any workers, or have you ever had any?
So I have had people come help me in the past, but it's just myself as far as on the books in my own company. Yeah, but yeah, if I need a subby, they'll come give me a hand, and I just like it that way. It's for now anyway. The size I'm at, I don't really feel we could take anyone on, and yeah, be able to give them enough work to keep someone going. But it keeps me flat out. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone down that path yet. So yeah, yeah, there's plenty of people that I know and have made friends with that can give me a hand if I need it. So it'll works, and it gives them work too if they're a bit quiet or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true. And I'm hearing that more and more. Actually, a lot of guys I speak to now are just saying that they just rather stay on their own. So, seems to be the predominant theme at the moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
What about how'd you go with COVID? So, you did say that I think you went back down south during COVID, was it? Or
yeah,
how'd you deal with that?
yeah. So COVID honestly wasn't too bad for us being in a smaller town, and we still experienced everything that everyone else did. But I wouldn't say it. Oh, it probably affected the business, but because I was starting out, it wasn't like I went from full capacity to COVID hitting. It was sort of like I was starting anyway, so it was all a struggle no matter what. Really, it didn't feel like a brick wall as such. It was all a brick wall. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
there was difficulties just like everyone else, and but yeah, we pushed our way through it, and yeah, we've definitely had work during COVID, which we were fortunate enough to do, and yeah, people were, you know, kind enough to give it to us too.
yeah. Yeah. And what about when you were like you say you when you're starting out? Do you have any like stories or anything of like things that have happened to you or things that other people can like I don't know either avoid or I don't know just any stories in general? Have you got anything that you can
Um,
think of? I can tell you something. I've had a few learning curves. Yeah, as when I
yeah,
started, like
yep,
just being careful who I listen to,
yep,
being careful who I say recommended me. Like I can
yep,
tell you a story that. I had somebody that was helping me start off in the industry, and they said, "Oh, ring up this such and such agency, and just tell them that you know me, and then I'll help you out." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then when I called the agency and said, "Hey, I know such and such," they're like, "Oh, that bastard! I'll never work with him. He'll never work for us again." And I was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have used that. I shouldn't have dropped that name." So just
yeah,
I had definitely a few learning curves at the
yeah,
start, and I was like, "No, I'm not mentioning, not dropping names anymore. Now I'm just
yeah.
going to go on my own and do it." So
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know. That,
definitely. On the back of that, yeah, that does remind me. Actually, yeah, there was plenty of people that promised the world and would get you excited as a young business owner. And probably the biggest thing I struggled with as well as being young. Like I was only, would have been 18. Well, I actually started it when I was 17, but yeah, I would have been 18, 19. So they see this young kid and just think, yeah, what would you know? And so that was tough. So you got to sort of act a bit older than you actually are, and yeah. But then again, they sort of I've had a few people try to take me for a ride because you're younger. So sometimes you learn that the hard way, or you pick up that they're trying to screw you over or something. But yeah, yeah. So I just be very wary of what people promise and don't. Like I had people, I asked people about buying machines and would they give me work. Say there was developers that yeah, and they sort of they'd say, oh yeah, we've got a lot on, but I'm glad I never did it, but it can be a trap where you go and buy this machine and then go to them and they say, oh, that was only this conversation, like we weren't serious. So yeah, and then you got to find work for that machine. So I wouldn't say that I just had jobs lined up everywhere when I always bought a machine, but I had something for it to do, and it wasn't off the back of just one person. Um, and you don't know what work you've got until you buy the machine too. So it's one of those things. If you can line something up, great, and if you trust them, that's good. But yeah, there is people out there that will promise the world and not deliver. That's for sure. Or you ring them up about a job and they say, "Oh, we just got such and such to do it. He was here or something." So yeah, there's always those. I'm sure people have plenty of stories about
yeah,
those sort of things. So
yeah.
yeah,
And look, in defense for some of those guys, I know that sometimes things did change. Like I've
yeah,
had that happen numerous times, and then fortunately, some of the guys were like pretty honest and said, "Look, man, when I was talking to you about
yeah,
it, we were flat out. We had all these things, but then they're like, but since then, jobs haven't come through. We haven't done. We've lost a few guys, this and that. So they were like pretty good about it. But yeah, there's nothing worse than
yeah,
the other guys that are like, yeah, go get a 14 tonner. We'll get you on here every day, man. We need your
yeah,
machine on here. Go get one. Go get
yeah,
one. So you go and spend 200 and something grand on the machine,
yeah,
and then you turn
yeah,
up and they're like,
yeah,
"Oh no, we've got no work, man. We've got nothing." Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah,
can happen.
yeah.
It can happen.
And it's very disheartening. And yeah, exactly what you said. Things do happen. You can't just blame people, just or hold a grudge to them because as far as people just saying, "Oh, we got that guy to do it," you can't. You got to move on. You can't hold a grudge
Yeah,
against them for it. Um, but yeah, that specific story did actually happen. As far as like I didn't buy any machine, but there was a heap of work promised for my little 1.8, and it never eventuated. But that's life. It's not the end of the
yeah.
world. But,
That's it,
yeah,
man. There'll be always something else anyway. Yeah,
yeah,
true.
that's right. There's always something. Yeah.
Yeah. What about have you ever had any trouble getting paid?
Um, I have been very fortunate that I've been paid by everyone up to date, but there was one instance that it was an old lady actually, and I went and did this clearing job for her, and um, yeah, same old story. When you're young and dumb, you never do any contracts up or anything like that, and you just gung ho and you want to just get the job and go do it, and same old story. So yeah, went and did the block, and yeah, turned out a really nice job, and she was really happy, and everything was fine. But I don't know why, whether maybe she was just old and, and didn't know what was going on. But it took me, yeah, a very long time to get paid, and yeah, so eventually she did pay, but it was just a nightmare, and it was a lot of money. Not enough money to probably sink me, but it was a lot of money to me, you know. So yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, that was very annoying, and I remember thinking, you know, if I had had contracts, if this goes bad, I would have a leg to stand on. But otherwise, you really don't. It's her word against mine, you know. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to get serious with lawyers and stuff, there's that possibility. But by the time you hire the lawyer, your profit's gone anyway. So
Well, I think in
yeah,
those circumstances, in those circumstances, most of the time the lawyers are the winners.
yeah,
They're the only winners in the whole
that's
process.
exactly right. You're
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah. So no,
Yeah.
if she didn't pay, I probably would have just cut my losses, and you know. But all those things were a good lesson, and it made me tighten my belt and get some good contracts in place, or you know, get set up to write contracts out, and yeah, and just general, you just know by a person and what they talk about, you know, when you go to look at the job, because most of the time, as everyone does, we'll go to look at a job and you genuinely know. I mean, sometimes you don't. Some people are good at hiding it, but yeah, if you don't have a good feeling about it, don't do it. That's my advice.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And I think
yeah,
I think also with residential and that a lot of times I've come to that point where I understand that a lot of people don't know what costs are involved.
yeah,
So, like I remember before I started Earthworks, I had a guy. He was digging out. We were building a house, or what were we doing? Subdividing. I think we were building a unit on the back of the house, and he
yeah,
was ripping up the old driveway. That's right. He was ripping up the old driveway with a bobcat and taking it away. And then I said to him, "Hey, listen, I go, while you're here, can you just scrape out the nature strip for me?" And he said, "Oh, I don't know if I'll get a chance, but if I do, I'll do it." And then I said to him, "Oh, cool." And I was thinking he'll just do it as part of the job. I was like, "Oh, he's already here.
yeah,
He's got the bobcat here. Like, if what's?" And then he came at the end and he goes, "Oh, it's $200." And I was like, "What do you mean $200?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's $200 for the take out the nature strip." And I was like,
yeah,
"It was only like a 2 second job." And back then I had no idea, yeah. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
now when I think about it, if I was in his boots, I'd be going, "This guy's a bloody pain in the ass," and then I'd be half tempted to throw the dirt back on his nature strip, and I probably wouldn't even do it for $200, to be honest. Yeah, I'll be like, kind of doesn't even cover the
yeah,
tip fees anymore.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
a lot of people probably don't understand as well, like
yeah,
how involved it is and what
yeah,
tip fees are and all that stuff.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
that one, yeah, lucky for me, like she did know what was involved. That's what made me a bit suspicious, as it was a quote.
oh,
So she knew exactly what was involved, because I do understand that it can be very expensive, and as you know, things can rack up. So yeah, one thing I've learned is be transparent with your customers after the first day. Let them know what it's costing them. You know, we'll let them know what things they might be expensive or could be expensive. Yeah, just so they know what they're up for, so you don't have to have that awkward conversation after you send the invoice and they're like, "Where did all this come from?" You know. So
that
um,
is actually that's a good point too, man. That was another thing I learnt and I have learnt is if you realize something while you're working and oh shit, this might
yeah,
blow out the cost a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
It's Don't do what I've done in the past too, is like, oh, I'll just let it keep sliding, we'll let it go, I'll talk to them tomorrow, or
yeah,
like I drop a few hints, but I don't actually clarify and tell them, look, it's going to be this much more.
yeah,
So I'll leave it, and in the end, when I do approach them, they either crack the shits because they're like, oh well, now it's too late and all this, and then
yeah,
or they try and turn it back on me. And most of the time, I'll probably just warn it and said, oh, don't worry about it. But
yeah,
really,
yeah,
yeah, like if you realize as you're starting a job and you think shit, this is going to go a bit over, and if you're
yeah,
not prepared to wear the cost, yeah, just stop and tell them straight away, man. Because don't think,
yeah,
oh, it'll be all peachy keen afterwards. And then even if they're the most easygoing
yeah.
customer, that when they
Yeah.
they can turn for $100 extra, they can turn on you.
Oh,
You know?
definitely. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then I've had to learn all those things the hard way as well. Hopefully, it's only just once, but yeah, it was all good in the end. But yeah, either lose out yourself or an unhappy customer. It's one or the other. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
so yeah, you learn from your mistakes and be transparent, and exactly what you said. If you think something's going to be expensive that they're not going to like, or out of what we you discuss, just call them. Send them a
Yeah.
phone call. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And just going back to what you said earlier about how you bought the machines and that, what
yeah.
actually made you what at what point do you actually decide it's time to go and upgrade, or decide to
Yep.
go and buy another machine or another bit of equipment?
Yep. Yeah. So I read, well, for, yeah, I guess for the posi track, I knew I needed it because I did actually have it requested a lot. Do you have a posi track? And at the time I didn't, and there's no just hire company down home that you can just go and grab one, like where, like the closest one would be an hour away, and it's not an easy hour of driving, so you can't just go and grab one, and it ends up all too expensive in the end anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah, I just thought, oh well, there'll be work there for it, and it's easy. It's easier, should I say, when I don't have a kids and I didn't have a wife at the time when I bought that machine specifically, and like, worst comes to worst, I don't know, you just resell it. Like,
yeah,
so that was the
yeah,
sort of, yeah, impression I was under, and I had saved up money obviously from working with the 1.8, enough to have a decent deposit and not be in debt too much. So I just like to build up if you're going to upgrade, make sure, like you always say, is make sure you got capital behind you to be able to afford it, because it's not just buying a machine, then you got to insure it, and all the rest of it that comes with it. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No, that's so true. Very true. Yeah. No, good. Well said, man. Well said. Um, and what are some of the things that you enjoy about your business? So we always talk about the bad things, breakdowns, people owing us money, all this, no break
yeah,
after hours.
yeah,
But what's something that you enjoy? What makes you go back and keep doing that
yeah.
every day?
Oh, I think it's just simply just the love of it, really. Like, I grew up as a kid on machines. Like, Dad always had machines around, and so just from the youngest age, just always on a machine. I've always knew I wanted to own my own gear and do my own thing. So it's probably doing my own thing. But if you wanted to get specific, it would be probably seeing what you can change in a day. Like, you can turn up to a really messy site, or something that's just trees, and really turn it into something magic. I like the finishing touches too. I love topsoiling, and finishing things off is, yeah, by far my favorite. And there's plenty of things I love about it, but it's probably the finishing touches. Like, you walk away and, yeah, everything's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good, man, because you take pride in you. It means you take pride in what you do and that. So that's good. Good
yeah,
to hear.
yeah, yeah. No, you have
Yeah.
to. You have to have, otherwise, yeah, it's really not worth, like, nothing's worth doing if you don't take pride in it. And yeah, the outcome of your job, your work won't be, to standard either, really.
Yeah. And you can tell that usually, like even when I had workers, I could always see the differences. Like
Yeah,
I had guys that would just come, do their job, dig whatever they had to dig, and then just barely
yeah,
move the dirt if they have to. Like digging a trench, they'll just throw the dirt anywhere, and then you'll have the other operator that will come in, make it all neat, have everything nice, benched. And then when they're
yep,
doing topsoil and they're taking photos because it's all level, they're all like proud of their work. And other guys are like, they just do it and pack up and go
yeah,
home. I
yeah,
suppose everyone's a bit
yeah.
different.
Everyone's a bit different, and look, if you don't you don't have to, and again, you don't have to love the industry to death to be able to do a good job either. Like, you might not like it that much, but you might be good at it. I don't know, but for me, that's how it is for me anyway. I find. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And what about, did you say, have you got any kids and stuff now or
nah, no, no,
no,
no,
no?
no
Or
kids.
no, because I was going to say, what are your plans? Would you, if you had kids, would you recommend them to come and do this industry?
100%. Yeah, definitely. It's a great industry, and it's great work, and it teaches you to respect machines, being around them from a young age. Like, you have awareness of, if you're around other machines, if you're an operator yourself, to keep clear, and yeah, it's great. Yeah,
Yeah. No, good. And
yeah.
then, and going back to like what you were saying when you started, what could you recommend for anyone that's trying to like get into the industry or start a business at doing what we're doing?
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of things I probably, when starting out, it was probably tough. I really should wish I'd gone and done, probably 2 or 3 years of working with a really good civil company, probably a smaller company, someone that did really nice work, and learned a heap. But I just jumped straight in the deep end, and I had experience operating machines, but I didn't know their work. So my advice was if you're going to do it the way I did it and jump on the deep end, start really small. Start by pulling plants out of the backyard and, doing garden work essentially. A little site cut for a little shed or something. Learn how to do that properly and tidy and in a, you know, an efficient manner. And then just take on, that's how I did it, take on something a bit bigger that you're comfortable with. Yeah, so nothing like jumping in the deep end, but if you've got zero experience, definitely, like everyone says, go jump on a shovel for a civil company or someone that you know and try to wiggle your way into the machine somehow at lunchtime or something.
Yeah.
But I was very fortunate to have the machine operating. I wasn't a great operator, but I knew what the machine did as far as hopping in it with the joysticks. Yeah, just from growing up with it, as far as my case. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's some sound advice. Yeah, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
common. That's what most
Yeah.
of us will say the same thing. And a lot of
Yeah.
times people don't like to hear that. Like, I don't want to go be a labourer, man.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
labourer. Why should I do that? But it does make sense. It does make
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of my better operators were guys that started off as labourers, yeah, because
Yeah.
they worked spotting me, watching what I'm doing, telling me where to dig, and then by them doing that, they're actually learning what the operator needs to do, so that when they jump in the
Oh,
machine, they know what's expected already because they've been out
definitely.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I was told if you can't fill the shovel with dirt, you'll never be able to do it in a bobcat or anything else. So if you can't fill the shovel out of a stockpile,
yeah.
you won't be able to do it in a machine.
There,
So
there you
learn how to
go.
do that properly, and that's the thing. I didn't just jump in the machine straight away either, and had the easy route. We all did shovel work and crowbar work and
Yeah,
all sorts.
yeah,
So yeah, I think it's a good thing. Exactly, just jumping off the back of what you were saying. Like, yeah, if you learn how to use the shovel properly when you jump in the machine, and you'll know what the labourer is going through, you'll be able to give him as much hand as possible. Yeah.
yeah. And that's true. I did a skit ages ago. Is that what you call them? A skit nowadays? I don't know, a post or whatever. I did one
Yeah.
of those ages ago and said, the labourer can either make you or break you because on job
Oh.
sites, if you don't make the labourer's job easy, he's going to go back to the supervisor and go, "This guy's crap, man. Get rid of him."
Yep. Yep.
Whereas if you're helping them and you're trying to do everything for them, make
Yep.
their job easier, they'll be like, "Oh, keep this guy. It's the best,
Yeah.
man." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that all helps too. Like if they go and tell the client you're working for, their boss, if it's a concreter or a builder or anyone, that can get you a good. If the labourer's happy, everyone's happy too. If you get a good review from him back to the boss, it could get you more work. So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it, man. So what are your future plans? Yeah, so what's the future plan for Blessos Earthworks?
I'd say probably just sort of getting to a place where we're probably maxed out with what gear we've got. Like we're busy now, and I definitely haven't stopped. We're busy, but it still is only our first year here in Emerald, so we'll probably just keep going with what we got. And there's always something else to buy, as you know. There's always something that you think you need, but yeah, no great plans or anything. Yeah, nothing in writing. Probably just you know keeping the machines that we got going and keeping them busy and everything else. There might be an employee maybe if we get busy enough. I don't know where it could go, but we'll sort of feel our way out and yeah, see how we go.
That's it. No, good, good,
Yeah,
good to have a plan. Whether it's moving and doing more or just staying the same, it doesn't matter as long as you still
yeah,
got a plan,
yeah,
man. That's the main
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
What
Oh,
about
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I forgot to ask you earlier. What about at the start of your journey as starting the business and that? How did
yeah.
you learn about all the paperwork that you've got to do and all your ABN stuff and BAS statements and all? How did you learn about all that stuff?
Yeah, so I learned the hard way by asking dumb questions to the accountant. So,
Yeah,
and lucky he's a really good guy. Yeah, I wouldn't be where I am without the accountant, that's for sure. So, yeah, just ringing him and just asking every question under the sun about, and didn't understand any of it, had no idea whatsoever. Obviously, Dad had ran his business, so that was good, but I couldn't hassle him all day either about what to do. So, yeah, just had to figure it out and through the accountant, just that's a good thing. Find a good accountant that will work with you and that works for you because that's the difference between a headache and not. And yeah, because I'm not very good with paperwork or computers and stuff like that. So yeah, he helped me out a lot as far as figuring out how to set up an ABN and all the rest of the stuff that you need. So, and we're still learning as it is. When you're a company, you still always learn about new paperwork that's coming out, and yeah, trying to keep up with the times, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I do the same, man. I get financial
Yeah,
statements and that, and I'm looking at it going, "What the hell does this mean?" There's all
yeah,
this thing
yeah,
keeps coming up every
yeah,
year. I have no idea what
yeah,
that is. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
So no, definitely, and communicate with your accountant. Ring him, just ask whatever you need. That's what you're paying for.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't understand something, or if you hear someone talking about something that you think you should know, just ring them, just ask them, and they should be able to talk you through most things as far as the ATO or anything, business wise that goes with tax and all that sort of stuff. But you do have to do some studying yourself. Like you can't lean on them 100%. But yeah, I don't know, just sit down and try and get your head around it, I guess. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And you know what?
yeah,
I often just found out things by asking others or listening to
yeah,
other people's conversations on site, and they're like, "Oh, do you know you can claim this diesel credit or whatever?" And I'm like, "Oh,
yeah,
really? What's that?" And then they start telling you like, "Oh, so
yeah.
you go and yeah, like you just learn things from just listening to other people."
Oh,
So
definitely. Yeah, yeah, and it's not just your accountant, just anyone. If you think that someone, is nice enough to help you out, just ask them a question on how they have their business set up. And most people are good people. They'd be willing to give you a hand and point you in the right direction too on what to do, what not to do either.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And what about, yeah, is there anything that if you could go back in time, is there anything that you would change, like you would do maybe a bit different?
Yeah, so just even with that purchase of the 1.8, like even though it was a good decision because I just was it lent towards little backyard jobs and it wasn't so many stressful jobs, it probably would have been a good decision to buy something a little bit bigger, even a 5 tonner or something more like a three, just to be able to move that little bit more dirt and just lean yourself towards bigger jobs, which gets a bigger clientele as well. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how things have gone. But there's all niggly things that you could change, but that's part of the learning process too. So
So how does like social media and that work for you? Do you do much social media stuff?
yeah, we do a little bit. Like we put our posts up and a few reels here and there, and try and show what we're up to and what we're capable of. We've got a website online there that got designed for us, so it's all a good help. The website actually probably has got me a few decent jobs, which has been really good. Yeah, but yeah, social media is yeah, it's just like anyone else. We put our stuff on there, and if some a client needs to go check it out and see what we're about, it's all there. But I wouldn't say we get a heap of work from say Instagram and Facebook. That's for sure. TikTok. So um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's just a bit of showing.
having a decent yeah, that's right. Yeah, just
Yeah.
photos and videos. So, but yeah, having a good website helps as far as it makes you look professional and gives people a greater insight to what you're capable of with certain blurbs in there and all sorts. So yeah.
All right. And what about, so if listeners wanted to get in touch with you or use your services, what's the best way to find you?
Yeah, so just type in Blessos Earthworks into your Google bar.com.au and yeah, we'll pop up online there or Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're all over in those sort of places. So anything like that, if you type it in, we should be there somewhere.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
And
yeah.
is there anything that you wanted to talk about? Is there something I haven't covered or any questions that you have or anything?
Oh, um, probably just maybe jumping back to starting out in business. I didn't think of this before, but
Hmm.
do your numbers, write down what you think it's going to cost to run, and add a few zeros to that because there's always unseen, you know, costs that jump up here and there. So yeah, so make sure you write your numbers down on a piece of paper. And the old saying is the pen doesn't lie. So do it 3 or 4 times, and if it's the same answer, it's not going to change. Like it's going to cost you that much to run. That's what it is. Or yeah, if you don't, yeah, or if you need to hire gear, even work out what it is to hire a day, and what you're going to charge the hourly rate at, or however you want to do it, and just don't cut yourself short. We've all done it. It's a good learning curve, but yeah, as far as if you really get it wrong, it's tough. It is really tough. Yeah, so make sure you know what it costs to run the business, even as far as right down to a day. Like, make sure you know what your running costs are for the day, and that you're making more than it. That's simple maths, really. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably a culprit of that. Sometimes I've written down, like, I was talking to Hayden Kinghorn recently as well. We did a
Yep.
podcast, and he was saying, he bases all his days on 10-hour days when he's
Yep.
planning a job. Like, if he says it's going to take 3 days, he means it's 10 hours a day for 3 days.
Yeah.
And I was saying, yeah, I'll do the same. But then sometimes when I'm doing my calculations, I think, I'll probably end up, the first day I'll probably end up being a bit less, or, we'll probably do it in 8 hours. So I cut it down to try and bring the price down. But then I always end up doing 10 hours anyway. So like you say, you just be really careful you don't cut yourself short. Because if you wrote it down on the paper, like you say, the pen doesn't lie. If you wrote it down, that's why you wrote it down, because it will be 10 hours,
Yeah. And the way you learn is making mistakes. So I've done it. Everyone's done it. But as long as you learn from it, and you still made the client happy, even if you lost money, that's the main thing, because they'll probably get you back, and that's maybe when you can pick up a bit of lost costs, or whatever else. You always hopefully make it back in the even though you've lost, you hopefully make it back in the next couple of jobs, or try and get back on top anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Nah, good, man, good. Yeah, well, that's some good points there for people to take on, especially when they're starting out.
No, that's probably the main things is know your costs, and if you're going to buy a machine, do your research on it, know what you want on it, what work you're doing. Like, do you need a tilt hitch for the sort of work you're doing, or can you just get away with a mud bucket just to get into the industry? When you're starting out, you really got to weigh up your options, and just sit down and do your research. And you can jump in the deep end, but it's not a nice feeling. That's for sure. If you've done a bit of research, it helps.
Yeah. Oh, what's your opinion on buying new versus buying used machines or equipment?
Yeah, so I've been very fortunate enough to always buy new. That's just how I roll with the machines. I've never thought that it'd be valuable enough to buy a brand new truck. That's something I just can't do. So I've always had second-hand trucks and trailers. But yeah, the machines, I like them to be reliable, and because I'm not a mechanic, I'd rather just ring Cat. They're all still under warranty at the moment, so if something happens, which nothing major's happened yet, but just to ring them and they come and sort it out. So I'd rather probably work a bit harder and chase a bit more work to be able to pay for a new machine. That's just how I've done it. I don't know that it's the be all end all, but that's just the way I like to run my business, and hopefully I'll just continue to do so and turn over the bits of gear that I got. Like that tractor second hand, but it only had 100 hours on it, and it's a Kubota, so Kubotas don't break.
Yeah, true. They are. They do. They live long. They do live long.
That's right. It's a tough little thing. So other than the trucks, that's the other thing. The only thing I put second hand. But I don't know. There's definitely good deals out there. But again, get someone that that's trustworthy, a mechanic. Go to check it out. They're some good solid machines with plenty of hours on them. But it's a heartache if you go to your first job and you do a hydraulic line, which can happen. It can happen on a new one. But or if you blow an engine, or there's lots of things that can happen. And that can happen on a new one, but at least you have the support and it's not out of your back pocket.
Yeah. All right, good. Yeah. Well said, man. Well said. All right.
And that's the thing also, is I don't know everything. I'm really feel like I'm just starting out still. So to be able to have people like Jack and, TerraPro, that they're a bit older, and yourself, you got all good knowledge and good advice. So that helps me too. I find, listen to the people that, are doing well, and no,
that's
tough.
Yeah. No, excellent, man. Excellent. All right. Well, I think this ends our session. So, Sweden, I want to say thank you very much for coming on and being a guest tonight.
No worries at all, mate. Thanks for having me.
No worries, man. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope all the listeners enjoyed and got something out of that. And then, yeah, for anyone that wants to get in touch with you, go on and have a look at Blessos' Instagram, TikTok, would you say Facebook, and they've got a website as well,
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
that's it. So just, or worst case, just type in Blessos Earthworks in Google and you'll find him.
Very
That's
good.
it. All right. Cool, man. No, thank you. Thanks once again for joining. To everyone else, thanks for listening, and I will catch everyone on the next episode. Have a good one.